Um, we are, in a sense, forgetting the past. We're focused on the present and the future. Again, I allow my clients a little bit of time to talk about the past, but we can't change the past. We can only change what's happening right now, and we can change what we plan on doing in the future. We talk about what is possible. We talk about, how we can solve things. Let's talk about where we are and where we want to go. How do we want things to be? And there is, again, little interest in understanding the problem or the roots of the problem. The greed that might come into play behind that whole candy bar scenario. We're not going to focus on that. We're not going to talk about how the child wants something and why they want that particular thing. We're going to breeze over that. We're focused on solutions. Choosing goals is important when moving forward. Again, the example of how I ask my clients, what do you want from this situation? What's your goal here? What is your goal here? And how do we get there? It's important to label those goals. Sometimes we come to someone with this big giant problem, and we don't necessarily know what we want from this problem. We just know that there's a problem. So choosing those goals and working towards them is obviously very important. When we talk about solution-focused brief therapy, again, we want to focus on the positives, the competencies, the strengths. We don't want to get stuck in the negatives, because if we get stuck in the negatives, we're just going to keep on going back in time and retelling this awful problem. We are trying to enhance lives quickly. I'm sure that we can enhance their lives having weeks and weeks of deep therapy, but at the same time, we're trying to say, hey, you know what? This can be solved right away, right now, so that you can get back to your life, whether it's school or whether it's work or whether it's maintaining your family or whatever it is. We could sit there and dissect this from 1,000 different ways, but maybe there's a way to do this right away. Maybe there's a way that we can make this brief when we think about these solutions. We realize that we need to be optimistic. We need to give people a chance. We need to kind of see things in a positive light that, okay, yes, this problem did happen, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there will be another problem in the future. We need to kind of say, yes, especially when it comes to conflicts with individuals, that this person may have done this wrong thing or this person may have done this wrong thing, but doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to do it again, that there is an opportunity for growth. We believe in the individual's capability in changing for the better. So that optimistic perspective kind of reigns through. We try to focus on achievable goals that are just around the corner. This is not something that is going to take months and years and to figure out. No, you are going to leave this session with an answer, with a better approach. You are going to leave this session with something. This isn't something that's going to take forever. You're going to walk out of this door a better person. We are trying to eliminate the problem as quick as possible. Oftentimes there's this notion that therapy cannot be brief, that it's so complex that we need to look at this from a number of perspectives and really give it time, and we have homework assignments, and you have practicing to do, and we have role playing, and we have this, that, and the other thing. And you know what? There is value in that. I don't think any therapist is going to say that those things are pointless or worthless. But we need to understand, too, that sometimes problems can be solved quickly. And depending on what that problem is, maybe something that's a little bit more solution-focused might be the best approach rather than diving deep into some of the roots of these problems. So what does that mean? That means we use solution talk. We are talking about solving problems. We're not keep on going back to what the problem is. I don't want to hear about what that person said over and over again, or what that person did over and over again, because that's problem talk. We're talking about solution talk. You know, when we're talking about goals, what we want, when we're talking about how we can achieve those goals and what we want in this situation, that's solution talk. And that's kind of what we're striving for. We need to recognize that sometimes small changes pave the way for larger changes. You know, baby steps. Sometimes we just need to kind of get the ball rolling. And maybe that would kind of help change the bigger outcome. So maybe the solution for that day, or you leaving that session, is just a baby step. But again, does get the ball rolling. There is no right solution. There's no truth. There's no therapist telling you what to do. We're open. We're going to kind of see what is out there. We're going to kind of consider all possible solutions, as long as it is a solution. Sometimes this is called actually not being a therapy, that it's some sort of personal consultation, that it's a very quick kind of come in, okay, here's the problem, here's the issue, all right, let's talk solutions, okay, and there you go. It's more of a consultation, almost like a business transaction, rather than this deep emotional, personal experience that we know as therapy. The process is collaborative, obviously. As with all postmodern theories, we recognize that clients are the experts of their own lives, that they have their own personal stories to tell, and that is the truth. We figure out what the clients want rather than what they don't want. Again, how many times does someone come to you telling you what they don't want or what's wrong? So let's focus on what you do want and what we can do to get you there. This is an action-oriented therapy. This is, hey, get out there and go and do it kind of therapy. This is a therapy that is situated in the here and now. It's not involved in the past, like a psychoanalysis or something. We recognize that today is happening right before our eyes. We're looking for attainable, concrete, and specific objectives or goals, things that we can do, things that we can do today, perhaps. And obviously the clients choose those goals. Again, that focus on solution talk rather than problem talk is vital. And that's the hard part of being a solution-focused brief therapist, brief counseling therapist, is that all the time people are going to slip right back into that problem, and it's your job to kind of stop them and say, no, we're not going to talk much more about that. I have a general understanding. We're going to move on. Tell me about how we're going to fix this. And it's our jobs as clients, as counselors, to put our clients in check and say, no, don't go there. We're talking solutions now. That's all, and that can be tough at times. We want to talk about the change and how it will happen. So we want to kind of give people an understanding of what they can expect next. Okay, this is action-oriented. I'm going to do this, and then probably this will happen, or this might happen. And again, get them thinking about the train to recovery, or the train to their goal, the solution to things, and kind of walk them through it so they can see what's coming next or what they can expect. We talk about change in many different ways. There's the pre-therapy change. Just by scheduling an appointment that shows that you are concerned with solving the problem, that you are, again, finding the positives, being brave enough to pick up the phone and call, or being devoted enough to the cause in order to kind of find a solution for it. We use exception questions. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. As you know, I am working at a school, and I had to take a little time out for some things. In continuation of kind of a little bit of the skills that we use in solution-focused brief therapy, we talk about exception questions. Can you think of a time when this wasn't a problem? So this helps people to imagine what it was like prior to the problem. Perhaps that shows that maybe if this is a problem with two individuals, there was a time when they were able to get along. And sometimes people don't remember those kind of things. They just, again, want to focus on the problem. So this is a way of kind of, again, talking about solutions, that solution talk. We use miracle questions. If a miracle happened, what would you want to be different? Again, getting people to think about positive things and positive outcomes, and then once they've kind of said what they would want, then we can kind of see if that's achievable and how we would get there. Again, focusing on the solutions. Sometimes it might take a miracle to make this solution happen, but again, sometimes this might just kind of get the ball rolling and get people to think about how they can accomplish their goals. We want to ask scaling questions so that we can notice small changes. So for example, someone might come in and say, "Oh, I'm so depressed today." Okay, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how depressed are you? "Oh, I'm a level 5. Okay, well, maybe next week the person comes in and say, "Okay, I'm so depressed." Okay, well, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And they say, "Oh, I guess I'm a level 6. And then we can notice that there was a small change there. In this case, it was a change for the better, and we can kind of highlight that and work with that and make people realize that, hey, sometimes there are baby steps. Maybe you're not just depressed. Maybe there's varying levels of depression, for example, and we can kind of work through that and try to find some solutions for that. We have something called Formula First sessions, where there's a task, maybe it's homework. You would kind of say, for the next time, do this. Another thing we try to do is have people think about what is positive in their life, and the things that they would want to keep in their life when moving forward. The kind of things that they might want to use as a foundation of support. Things that are not part of the problem, things that are part of the solution, things that we're going to need for support so that we can accomplish our goals. There's a lot of therapist feedback where we compliment and we help bridge some of our clients' goals and help them have a better understanding before we terminate this counseling relationship. But again, the overall premise of solution-focused brief therapy is to have solution talk, to have the idea that this is brief, to not focus on the past, to not focus on the problem, but to focus on going forward. And that kind of attitude might require you to put your clients in check sometimes, because again, people are going to want to talk about the problem, and it's going to be your job to refocus them on talking about the solution. So narrative therapy and solution-focused brief therapy both fall under that postmodern label. There's more. There's different ones. There's some very interesting ones revolving around art therapies, and things like that. And it's really a bunch of things that are a little bit new wavy, things that have come about in the last 30 years, and things that are still being kind of formed. These kind of therapies are still in their infancy, and are still waiting to kind of come to fruition completely. But they are interesting, and they are worthy of your time. So if you do find any of these interesting, I'm sure you can find a book or literature on solution-focused brief therapy or narrative therapy. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. There is one more video coming up, and that is on the family systems therapy. So we will talk then.